Alright, so I know I haven't posted in a minute, but I will hopefully get back on schedule. Just been studying for school. But anyways, this is a 7 kill game with the F5E. This was recorded a while back, so keep that in mind around mid to late April. Update is dropping tonight with the Fox 3s and the new SC27 and F15C. So there shouldn't be much of a difference. I got the Tiger 2 recently, actually. I've been grinding out the American Tech tree. Well, I was at this period of time, and I can wholeheartedly say it's an amazing aircraft. You get a light package. You get a light aircraft, two decent guns, not the best in the world, but you have enough ammunition in them so you can spray and you can kind of spray and pray. Uh, First missiles in this thing are the AIM-9Es, and they're kind of lackluster. You can definitely get kills with them at distance or at altitude or with people that aren't paying attention. They're not hard to use by any means, but they're definitely much harder to use than the M9Js that you get. And if you have access to these, I'd much rather you use these. These are really good missiles. They're 20 Gs overload, and they can maneuver a good amount. Rear aspect, which is a downside, but you gotta expect it, right? The major downside that I would give these missiles is that they are quite limited in terms of range. So you won't be having the same capabilities in range, even that you would have in AIM-9Es, for example. AIM-9Es you would have much further range than the Js. But anyways, this isn't fully upgraded yet, but I had some upgrades on it. But the way that I played it was almost fully as a furball fighter. Sometimes you have to stick to the sides a little bit and pick your fights, but for the most part, this thing it does really good in the furball. Now we got a missile on that MiG-21 right there. One thing you do want to keep in mind with these missiles are that they will go for flares quite easily, so keep that in mind whenever you are using them. But on low fuel, the F5E is it's amazing. That's the least I could say about it. On heavier fuel loads, yes, you will have trouble, but on lighter fuel loads, this thing turns into a complete UFO, and I'm still in the process of upgrading it, but I have no doubt that when I do that, it'll be insane. So right there, we got a gun kill, pilot sniper, I believe. These guns they're alright. So they are higher velocity than the Russian 30s and the Russian 22 or 23s, but they don't seem to hit as hard. Not nearly as hard. I'd rather have the M163 that the Americans have. The good thing about this plane is that it has two and it has a decent amount of ammo for these guns, but they are, sort of lackluster. Pick a side. Either lower velocity or higher hitting power. That's not to say these guns are bad, though. Sometimes in some cases you'll get snapshots where the 20s will do nothing, but these things will do amazingly. And the 20s is like the Vulcan cannon I'm referring to. So we're looking at F5. Try not to waste your missiles in this thing if you know the enemy will flare. Use your missiles as sort of a tool to kill people that you can't reach. So we just go for guns on that plane. And this F5E is much better than the F5C in every regard. Try and keep your speed up around 1,000 kilometers an hour. That is when this thing has a higher thrust to rate ratio, and this thing is insane at that airspeed. Acceleration is also pretty good. Something like the MiG-21, most cases will probably out accelerate you, but in a dogfight, since your retention is much higher, you can keep that speed much better. And this is what I mean. It's that I use it as a furball fighter. It's just simply amazing in that role. You make a turn and you've only lost 200 kilometers an hour, even if you're doing an Immelman. So launching the second missile there on the F5, but he flares it. Now just keeping an eye around. You do have flares in this thing, which is a really really big upside to this thing, and it just adds to the overall dogfighting platform that you have here. Now, as an F5C in front of us, he can't do much of anything. One thing that is kind of hard to do in this aircraft is to force a reversal, because most aircraft at this BR, like I said, like your biggest enemy will probably be a MiG-21. they can lose speed quite quickly, but you cannot. You hold on to it quite well. You do have a good roll rate and good rudder authority, but you don't want to have someone on your six in a lot of the cases. But if you do have someone on your six, what you can do is simply bleed them of their speed and keep it into a rate fight. This thing excels in the rate, no matter if it's horizontal or vertical. This thing is amazing at that, and that's what I mean when it is a dogfighting aircraft. It's amazing that keeping its speed high and being able to keep consistent turning ability. And you see there, I'm still going 900 throughout the entirety of that turn, and it allows me to keep up with a J-35, which is an aircraft that otherwise wouldn't have been able to, the way it was coming at me. Now J-35 loses speed quite aggressively, even in slight turns, so I know I'm going to catch him here. So I'm already getting ready for that lead turn, or lead shot. I'm just getting closer. I do kind of have bad aim right here and miss all my shots. I'm still missing my shots. I'm still getting used to this aircraft, and when I was recording this video, I was especially getting used to it. But we managed to snag him right there. Now you will see me cutting my afterburner a lot, and that is simply because of the fact that this thing does not like to lose its speed. I'm just, I'm trying to maintain my speed behind this J-35, and I'm continuously having to cut my. Now I recognize that the J-35 is a delta wing, and it will lose its speed a lot. And I almost crashed into the trees here, but now I'm just extending. I have no ammunition left, no missiles, and unfortunately it's my only option left. I can't help my teammates. Now, the one thing I will say with this aircraft is you do have to have an open eye. It's very easy to get snuck up on, and I mean, you can see right here I got 7 kills in this game. So if you keep your awareness high, I mean, you'll excel in this aircraft like nothing else. I will wholeheartedly say that I feel like it's an early tier F-16. The only upside is you don't have to deal with missile spam. You can actually use its performance to its advantage. So now we're getting up. I know I'm outnumbered at this point, so I actually turn on the radar. I actually keep my radar off in this thing. You never really use it, and you're just avoiding giving the enemy a warning, basically. In the RWR. So I see the SC-22 and then the F-104, and I decided to turn around. Now they are 2 aircraft, and I'm not sure, and then there is an F8 somewhere, and there it is. And I'm still close to my airfield, so I do have that as a last resort. I don't want to use it, but I will admit that I have used it in the past. I mean, it's a tool that I have, so I might as well, right? Anyways, missiles coming in at F-104. Don't really have to worry about that guy. He can't turn at all, essentially. And he's just fast, which is only 2, but he turns around, so this can hopefully lead up to a snapshot. Take it, and we end up snagging him. And then missile away, and he's dead. Now we got 2 more aircraft, trying to keep the speed up again. I have a full tank of fuel, so I'm trying to regain my speed. Right here, F8 will probably be the biggest threat. He has higher performance than the SC-22. SC-22 is kind of a boat, but still keep an eye out, because if you get double teamed here, and although these aircraft that I'm fighting right here are nowhere near close to my aircraft's performance, you still never know. So the SC-22 is coming in here. I decided to dive down, hopefully get below the SC-22 and also the F8E to give him a harder angle and a shot as well. He ends up getting taken out by the airfield AA, and this SC-22 is the last guy here. All in all, again, like I said, this aircraft is an amazing dogfighter. I suggest you use it in that role. You'll have a lot of fun, but keep your awareness up, because in a dogfight you never know what's going to happen. If you want to use it to its full potential, stick to the sides and pick people off, and in the end game, if you're on low fuel, you're untouchable. And that's 7 kills.